COVID has been eye-opening for people, and people have been doing this. In fact, Airbnbs blew up, or any short-term rental blew up, because people realized they had to work from home, but they didn't have to be at home.
There is a new American dream. One that doesn't involve working till you're 65 before you start enjoying life. If you're someone looking for ways to regain control over your time and check off that bucket list now, you're in the right place. We share tips from experts on investing, personal finance, and mindset so that you can finally have the freedom to work less and live more. This is the Freedom Investing Podcast with your host, Kris Toribio.
What's going on, everyone? This is Kris Toribio with the Freedom Investing Podcast, and I am so happy you're here to join us for another amazing episode. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button so that way you can stay up to date with our latest episodes. So, moving on to today's guest, we have Melanie McDaniel. Melanie is the founder of Freestyle Capital Group, a boutique private equity firm, and Freestyle Fund, a customizable fund. She partners with passive investors to invest in private equity real estate transactions across a variety of asset classes, operators, geographies, and investment strategies. Melanie offers diversified investment opportunities and aims to have a personal relationship with each investor. Melanie, welcome to the show. Before we dive in, give us a quick 2-minute rundown of who you are, what your background is, and where you are in your journey to achieving time freedom.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. My background started in Utah, the go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job sort of thing. But I did that, but kind of took a dip into the military on the way. So prior military, and then found my way settling into a career with the federal government. I was a park ranger for 9 years. And at year 7, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad along that journey, and it blew my mind. And I felt I drew the short stick. I was 35 by the time I realized what financial freedom was, that I didn't have to live inside this box of going to school, having a job, the white picket fence, the dog, the husband, all that stuff, right? So complete redo of my life. I quit my federal job, went in full-time real estate, started out as a real estate agent. While I decided what I wanted to do as far as the investor side went, I knew I wanted to not do single family rentals. I wanted to do bigger stuff, more zeros. So I ended up in the apartment world. Thought I was going to syndicate and buy apartments, but realized my favorite part of buying apartments was actually just dealing with investors and working with the best operators. So that's kind of what led me down the path I'm on. I'm more on the capital side. Now I have a fund, but I still find great operators to invest with.
Wow, that's a fantastic journey that you've had so far. And, it sounds like it's something that's very consistent with a lot of people are looking for, is that they're tired and they don't understand that there's this lifestyle they can potentially have that fulfills all the dreams that they've always dreamt of, right? So in your particular case, when we first met, you were telling me that you were living this nomadic lifestyle. You were having this opportunity to travel the world and live in different countries. Is that something that you always had dreamt of? Is that something that you always envisioned yourself being able to do?
So it's interesting. Was it who I am? Yes. Was it something I thought as a kid would be magical? Yes. Was it ever a reality because I was trapped by society norms? Yeah, I was trapped. So to answer your question, did I want to always do that? I don't know, but I didn't know. I didn't always know I could do that, right? So I had to learn that anything's possible. Dream whatever it is you want to dream, and then back step to how to get there. So when I was in the military, I was stationed overseas. So luckily I was traveling, didn't really notice how trapped I was in the job, right? And then I became a park ranger, and working for the federal government, you get 2, maybe 3 weeks off a year, and it's usually not all at the same time. So started feeling the pressure on that. Still did travel the world quite a bit, but had to come home and go to work. And when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and shifted to the real estate side is when my mind really opened up to, okay, what could my life look like? The stepping stone of being a real estate agent also is not very friendly to having a lifestyle of doing whatever I want, wherever I want. So as a real estate agent, I knew it was a stepping stone. I figured I'd be in that for 3 years. I did 2.5. And during that time, I really honed in on what could I do that will allow me to travel and work from anywhere in the world. I started listening to podcasts for nomads and these digital nomads. That it was called the Maverick Show with Matt. Oh, what was Matt's last name? Oh my goodness, can't remember right now. But anyway, the Maverick Show. And Matt's also in real estate, so he buys and sells rentals. Let's see, like turnkey rentals. So he's a turnkey rental provider, and he was all over the world and recording podcasts and all over. And I'm like, how did he do that? If he could do it, why can't I do that? I didn't necessarily want to be a podcast host or whatever he was, but he was in real estate. So when I was going from real estate agent to bigger doors, and that's part of the reason I didn't want to just be the acquisitions or operations person, because you really, if you're in operations, you should be in the state that your property is in, right? You can't just rely on your property manager. That's kind of what also pushed me toward just working with investors, because as long as I have Wi-Fi and a phone, I can talk to my investors from anywhere in the world. And I come and go. I don't go overseas and never come home. So I started my business and I was in Thailand, and then I came home, and then I went to Mexico. Well, I was supposed to go to Mexico, but COVID happened. Long story. So I can be nomadic for a month or so at a time. I do come back to the States because I do want to go visit every property I participate in. So for me, it worked just fine, because my travel cadence was like every month I would go somewhere for a month. So I was very intentional with designing that lifestyle, because I didn't want to have roots. I didn't want to have a home. So for 2 years, from January 2020 until just about January this year, 2022, I was completely nomadic. I had a car, and I was using my car because I was domestic quite a bit because of COVID. I think after COVID hit, I only made it to Mexico a couple times, and Belize. Other than that, between Boise and Austin and Alaska and California and all the states in between. So yeah, it was very intentional. And I sold everything. I have no belongings except my car and a few of the things that fit in my car. And I didn't know how long I was going to be nomadic. I was kind of searching for whatever this home is, and found it in Austin. So for now I have roots, but who knows? Maybe I'll peel up and jump on a plane.
Go right back on it again, right? It's so funny, because when we saw each other over at the conference in January, at the end of the conference, they had released that raffle, and of all people, you end up winning that raffle on I think it was like a couple days at some country of choice or something like that. I was like, of course Melanie would get it.
It was a $4,000 voucher to really anywhere you could go with the voucher. Yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah. Did you end up using it?
I've been using it just for hotels, because it's a hotels.com voucher, although they have like a travel division. I couldn't quite figure out how to get that booked. So I've been using it for hotels when I go to conferences and stuff, but it's still helpful. I still love it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you said a couple of really good things there that I want to kind of really stress and bring up. The first one was that you mentioned Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, that's what many of us entrepreneurs and what many business people kind of referred to as the Purple Bible, because of how much of an impact it had on people. Not so much from strategy, but really mindset. And, you know, from the lifestyle by design that you've been living up until this point, for many people out there, that's really like the dream life that many people want to have, right? They want to have this ability to say, hey, if I can, you know, take a step back and go travel and live in another country for a month, I can do it. If I want to set roots in a different city that I never lived in before and really get to know this place down to an intimate level, I can do it. But the thing is a lot of people get to the point where they say, well, that'd be nice, but insert excuse here, right? And so from your standpoint, I guess, what do you think some of the things that hold people back from kind of really taking reign on this and moving forward with this type of lifestyle?
Well, definitely just the idea that it's even possible, I would say, is the first piece. And a lot of mindset work had to go into that for me, because there are a lot of things our little inner children want, right? We want a big house, we want fancy car, whatever it is that we want. But in our analytical adult minds, we're like, well, we can't have that. We don't have enough money, right? Or whatever. So we somehow cancel out or tell ourselves that we don't want these things, right? So if people really sat down and thought about it, and they want time freedom, they want to move about the world and travel and work from anywhere in the world, their subconscious mind or their analytical mind already turns it off. So unless they are willing to go to a place that's uncomfortable, and you take away all those restrictions and anything's possible, that's scary, right? Because now your whole
Absolutely.
life is turned upside down and now anything's possible. And where you are in your life is as an accumulation of all the choices you've made up to that point. And some people don't want to accept responsibility for where they are in life, right? So the first step is just awareness. And then the second step is, whatever that next thing is, to make it so you can do that. But you have to decide, if your job, some people, COVID has been eye-opening for people, and people have been doing this. In fact, Airbnbs blew up, or any short-term rental blew up, because people realized they had to work from home, but they didn't have to be at home. So there were a lot of these people going for 2 weeks or a month or whatever, and staying in Airbnbs, maybe not abroad, maybe not jumping on a plane going abroad, but a lot of people in the US moving about. So it was kind of this natural transition already that people are being exposed to this new lifestyle. Before COVID, we were called digital nomads, and it was this term that not a lot of people knew about, but there were people doing it. Very small community, but lots of communities and people doing it. There's Nomad Train, there's Nomad Cruise, there's Nomad, all sorts of stuff if you really start digging into it. All this was pre-COVID. But now it's kind of like normal and acceptable. So COVID really accelerated this idea that you can design your life. You can still have a job, or if you don't want to have a job, that's fine too. If you want to, work toward passive income or financial freedom or whatever, fine. But it's possible now. So I do think because of COVID, this mindset limitation has probably been lifted quite a bit for anyone moving forward now in the idea that they want to be nomadic and move around.
Absolutely. You make a really good point there. I'm from the healthcare field, and we see firsthand that, a lot of people had this eye-opening during COVID that, maybe we can just stop what we're doing here. A lot of people were very unhappy with the way they were being treated as employees. And suddenly now we're going through this great resignation, and a lot of people are really taking into account what matters most to them. And for some people, that may mean having this opportunity to travel to this city that they've never lived in, or really even work from home, is what you were saying. Really what it is the flexibility. And I find that a lot of people so far haven't had the opportunity to see that in their own jobs. And now COVID kind of opened their eyes and said, look, if something like this were to ever happen again, I don't want to have any regrets in holding back from what it is that I really want. And so you see a lot of these travel nurses, you see a lot of these people that are quitting and, again, as you were saying, setting aside that level of comfort in exchange for potentially freedom, right? Freedom and the ability to do what it is that they want.
Yeah, scary. That's for some people, new and different things are scary. So you have to get over that too.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess for yourself, you had to get to this point where you had the capability to have this nomadic lifestyle, and real estate really played a part in that. So how would you say real estate, for someone who's looking to live a life by design, how can they leverage real estate to be able to achieve something like that?
So there's a few different ways to be involved in real estate. We'll call it, just to keep it simple, passive and active, right? So passive investors are people who either have a high net worth and they need to put their money to work so their money can go out and bring their friends back, right? We want our money to go work on behalf of us. Or if they still need to work and they like their job, then they just invest the money that they make, right? And then that money being put to work in real estate gives you a lot of benefits. One is cash flow, and then you have equity. So the more you can do that, it snowballs into bigger sums of money, tax benefits, all the stuff that we love about real estate. So that's the passive side. And those I would recommend for people who have a job they enjoy, a lifestyle they enjoy, and maybe kind of blend the lifestyle design. Maybe their current job, they can travel about, no need to wait till retirement, right? If you can go to a country for a whole month, then you can work a normal work day and still enjoy the country you're in on the weekends or the nights or whatever. And then on the far extreme of that would be an active investor, and that is you are full-time in real estate, whatever that is, not just doing transactions like an agent, but you're actually gaining equity and cash flow in each of the deals you do. So that's where I am. I'm full active. But I'm not transactional. I don't want just to make a bunch of acquisition fees. I want equity shares. I want cash flow, just like my passive investors do. So I do that alongside them, but I work my butt off to get the deals for them. And so I have sweat equity, and they put in the cash, and together we share in the equity and all the upside. And and all the tax benefits of the real estate. So lots of ways to get involved. And it just depends on each individual person, what their skills are. And then, of course, what kind of income they have or what kind of money they have to invest.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's something that we noticed as well, transitioning from the small multifamily, single family space into these larger commercial deals is that, you really have to have this mindset of abundance and understand that it's a team sport. A lot of people can bring specific value to the table that can really get that deal across the finish line. And it's not something that one individual person can really do on their own. And it was kind of refreshing coming from a mindset and coming from a situation where, it's easy to take down small single family or even small multifamily deals. But the reality of it is just because there's not that much meat on the bone to be able to share with anybody else. And so having this opportunity to meet people like yourself and others within the industry that have really had a lot of success so far has really been inspiring. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and transition to what we call the Freedom Five. The Freedom Five questions, they are 5 questions that we ask every guest on our show, starting with the most important question, which is, what is your why? What is the underlying motivation behind everything it is that you do?
I've gone through this exercise where you do like the 7 levels of why, right? Excuse me. And, I used to think, because I want to travel the world, experience cultures, do all that stuff. And they're like, well, why? So anyway, what it ended up being is my purpose in life, my why in life is to be a good human, exist on this earth, love people, experience love. And it's not even to experience everything in the world. It's to be insanely content and fulfilled in the life I do have. So, I just want to love people. And I'll tell you right now, love isn't that easy. Some people, you just don't love them at all because they're jerks, right?
Yeah.
But to like see the good in all the people and to really just embrace different cultures, different ways of thinking, different belief systems, and just let them allow all humans to be who they are, where they are in their evolvement or whatever, and not judge, just experience, allow, and love.
I love that. Yes. And I think that goes hand in hand with traveling too. My wife and I kind of talk about that too. It's like, we've been blessed to travel a decent amount, over the course of our life as well. And I think that really opens up your eyes to different perspectives and different types of people and the way in which they live. And ultimately understanding that, one, you get an opportunity to really feel grateful for what you do have, back home, but also just seeing that, a lot of people can define happiness and a lot of people can have certain things in their life that are different than you. And that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to live life. It's just, as you were saying, allow, love, and experience, everything it is and taking all those things in. That's great. You probably have the answer to this already, but if not, what book has had the largest influence on your life?
Oh, I mean, it's easy just to say Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I will give you one more, The Power of Now. And it's more of a mindset, almost spiritual type book. Why am I forgetting what his name? Eckhart Tolle is the writer. He's a German guy. And The Power of Now is about kind of what my why is about, right? Is being in the moment, that the past, I'm pretty sure the past happened, and I think I remember it happening a certain way, but there's no guarantee that even our memories are correct. And I'm learning now, doing some work to go back to my past and actually change my memories if they're even different or whatever. And it impacts who you are now and in the future. So, and then the future is never promised. It's not guaranteed at all. So just living as much in the present moment as possible. And then again, like not judging, not labeling, just sitting, like gaining the space between thoughts, because we're just here to be, right? We're not always just here to analyze and think and wonder what's happening in the future or why the past happened, how it is. It's just to be and try to be as content and just human sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a powerful book. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and The Power of Now, I kind of read almost a similar time in my life, and they were both pivotal in my shift from being who I was to who I am.
Your answer right there really kind of, puts this onto my head too, is that, we've been trying to implement meditation pretty regularly into our days. And it's really hard. It's really hard to just be there. And, the goal of meditation really is to kind of establish a clear mindset and clear brain of all these thoughts that, are coming at you a million miles a minute from all the various different things that you have to do and responsibilities throughout the day, and really forces you to sit there and appreciate the breath and also just appreciate being without any sort of thoughts. And I got to tell you, it takes practice and training and time, and it's definitely something that you catch yourself thinking, like, while you're sitting there, like, oh, what am I going to have for dinner today? Or, oh, what else did I have to do on my list today? And it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, what I like, Eckhart talks about that a lot in the book. So instead of sitting there trying not to think, right? Because your mind's going to think. Instead, be the watcher of your thoughts. No judgment. Just watch. Oh, that's funny. I went there. Oh, my mind is grocery shopping, and then you're like, oh, my mind is talking about my mind grocery shopping. You just watch. Be the watcher of the thoughts, and try not to judge yourself, because it's very challenging.
Yeah, I have to watch my thoughts more often. That's for sure. It's adding another level of self-awareness there.
Yes. Well, and then you're going to have another level of awareness of your watcher that's watching.
Oh gosh. Yes, that's right. All right. Number 3, the question is, what is the most impactful thing, whether it be a piece of technology, a habit, or person, that has helped in freeing up your time?
And freeing up my time, that's interesting. Just saying no and not doing everything.
Yeah.
Staying focused, staying on schedule. And if there's something you realize you're chasing a shiny object, or maybe you get yourself spread too thin, I do this. And just saying no.
That's great. We, as a team over here at freedominvesting.com, has also experienced that. Is there's a million different things to do. But the problem is, if you want to maintain progress, you really have to focus on one thing at any given time. Multitasking is almost like a moot point when it comes to trying to succeed, because at some point or another, you have limited bandwidth, and you have to make a full force effort to achieve maybe 1 or 2 goals at a time, and really get those things done before you can move on to the next thing. And you can be hit with all of these different opportunities, and you got to know, like, oh, all right, I got to do this, and this, and this. And at some point, you just have to stop and say, like, look, I'm doing this, and that's it.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I've had to adjust is, I've been at this game for a while, and I have a decent sized platform, and I guess I know stuff, but people think I know stuff, right? So and people want to ask me questions, they want to get on my schedule, they want to pick my brain, so I have had to it's hard, because I want to give back, and I don't like telling people no, but I have had to start saying no to people who just want to have an hour of my time, or take me to coffee, or it's sad, but it's hours of my life that I've been giving away for free, and mostly nothing in return, honestly. So yeah, that's been a no lately for me that I've had to start utilizing.
Well, I completely agree with the direction you're taking there. And a lot of it is because of the mantra that we have here at freedominvesting.com, is that time is your greatest asset. And it's the one thing in life that you'll never get back. You can always make more money, you can always get all these new things, but ultimately, once time is spent, it's something you can never get back. So we kind of make an effort to make sure that we value other people's time, especially those of our investors that we're trying to help earn back their time as well. So what is the number one piece of advice that you would give to anyone looking to achieve more control over their time?
I think time blocking and scheduling things. I'm kind of a list maker, goal setter, so it just depends on how people, if they're analytical or not, or how they best get their goals done. But I think every day you start over again with your goals. Don't set your long-term goals and your midterm goals and all that stuff, but every day you should start another goal, the same goal again. So, and then making sure you're hitting whatever your priorities for the day, like 2 or 3 or whatever it is. Don't get yourself too bogged down, but pick the most important things for the day, refresh and remember in the morning what they are. And then when they're accomplished, check them off or whatever makes you feel good so you can get the most important task done.
I love that. Yeah, there's definitely a dopamine hit when you can check something off your list for the day. So we read the book Traction, and we've been implementing his entrepreneurial operating system into our business. And it's the same thing. It's really taking a huge goal, whether that be a 5-year goal or a 1-year goal, and really forcing yourself to break that down into actionable steps that you can achieve. And it takes that 1-year goal, and then you break it down to these quarterly goals. And then from there, you can break it down into weekly goals. And then those weekly goals, you can, let's say it's Sunday, you can take your weekly goals for the week and say like, all right, Monday, I'm going to do this. Tuesday, I'm going to do this. And the intention is that by the end of the week, you completed that quarterly goal and by that weekly goal. And then over time, by achieving those goals on a week by week basis, the intention is that you will be able to reach those 1-year and 5-year goals because you were hitting that thing with regular achievements. And finally, what is the best way for our listeners to get in contact with you?
So I'm on social media quite a bit, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the basic boring ones. I'm not quite on TikTok or any of those fun ones yet, but that's the best place.
No dances yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I should probably get into the video game, but not quite there yet. So they can reach out to me there, any DMs or whatever. And if they look for my name, Melanie McDaniel or Freestyle Capital Group, they'll most likely find me. And then if they're just old school or just want to go direct, Melanie at freestylecapitalgroup.com is my email.
Fantastic. Well, Melanie, that's a lot of great information that you shared with us today. I really like how you mentioned the different views towards how you can shift your mindset, how you can live your life by design, by taking action and confidence, feeling comfortable, being uncomfortable. That's actually a mantra that we actually live by, and it's pretty consistent with what it is that you told us today, as well as how real estate can help you achieve those kind of goals. So with that being said, I just want to thank you again for being a fantastic guest on our show, and I look forward to keeping in touch.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now, if you like this show and want to learn more about how we can help you free up your time through passive real estate investments, check out www.freedominvesting.com. Make sure to subscribe to our monthly newsletter and schedule an introductory call with our team. We also have a free 7-day course on what passive real estate investing is and how to get started so that you can start your journey towards earning back more time in your life. To all of our amazing listeners here on the Freedom Investing Podcast, my name is Kris Toribio. Till next time.